Hello, this is Mike from TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you on your 2024 Flagstaff 19 FBS E Pro. I'm going to walk you around it, show you how to use a few things to get the best out of your camping experience. Let's start by talking about arriving at the campsite and a couple things to think about when you're parking. On your campsite, leave plenty of room for that awning. On your off campsite, besides your slide, I want you to think about where your power and water connections are going to be. Your power is going to be toward the rear on your driver's side of your tow vehicle, and then your water is going to be up toward the front. So park accordingly so you can utilize the facilities at the campsite. Once we arrive and unhook our hitch, first thing we're going to do is level our unit. The unit comes with a power tongue jack. Night docking light, should you arrive at night, simply lower or raise the unit until you're level. Now should you lose power, pull this bike rack out. Underneath this rubber stopper here will fit this handle down through there, and you can get that up and down without power. Speaking of power, check your battery post every now and then, make sure nothing's wiggled loose going down the road. Once we got our unit level, the next thing we'll do is stabilize it. All four corners of the unit got these new Lippert quick drop stabilizing jacks. We're gonna unhook a little safety chain right here, put our hand crank on here, give it about 2 cranks, just enough that you can get down and get a hold of this cotter pin. Pull that out, I'll drop that right to the ground. Now as I do, I'm going to recommend jack pads for underneath your stabilizing jacks. That's going to help protect the feet of these from dirt and debris, keep them from sinking into hot blacktop. Just grab a 4-pack of those, put them down, and that's how quickly you can run those down. Now remember, our unit's already level, so we're only going to run this down until it's stable. Once it feels like it's starting to lift the unit, just stop. Get all 4 of those down, you got your unit level and stable. Now we can hook up our power and water. Big long 30 amp cord plugs in here on the rear. It'll go in at about, say, 10 o'clock, and then you can turn it around to noon, put this black washer on there, and lock that on there. Now should you ever need to plug into a 110, in your convenience pack will be a 30 to 15 amp reducer you can throw on the end of this if you ever need to plug into a 110. Got your power hooked up, let's hook up your water. At campsites, we're going to hook up to city water connection. Grab yourself a water pressure regulator. That'll just protect the lines in your unit, because you don't know what the water pressure is at different campsites. Hook that up, hook up your hose. Don't turn your hose on yet. Let's check your hot water heater. All we're doing is making sure that drain plug's in there. Once that's in there nice and snug, you can go ahead and turn that hose on. After that hose has been on for a few minutes, go inside and open the slide if you need to. I need you to get in there and open up all of your water lines. Get a nice steady flow of water going through them. Get all the air out of the lines. You are all set to camp. Now let's say we're not going to go to a campsite, we're going to go dry camping and we want to fill up our freshwater tank. Well, in that case, just above that is our potable water tank. Don't leave this unattended while you're filling it. Just gravity fill this with a regular hose. 2 ways to tell it's full. 1, there's an overflow valve right here, or 2 on the inside where you check the levels of your black and gray tanks. There's also a freshwater button. Hold that down. As soon as that hits full, come out here, shut that water off, remove that hose, put this cap back on there, and then whenever you want to utilize that water out camping, you'll turn on your water pump. Don't turn on your water pump and hook to the city water. It's already pressurized. Alright, we're all set to camp. We got power and water. Let me walk you around the rest of the unit, continuing here on the off campsite. We got a docking light. We're up right here. Big pass-through storage here. You got a sand foot for your front of your unit. There's a spray port hose that'll plug in a couple spots in the unit that I'll show you as I go around. And there's your griddle and quick connect LP. I'll show you where that goes as I get around there as well. Back over here, magnet, hold your doors up. Again, our fresh water, city water, cable or satellite. Here's where you will hook up your antifreeze when winterizing the unit. Make sure you bypass your hot water heater indoors. Speaking of hot water heater, if it doesn't seem to be working, come out here and look to see if either one of these are bubbled up. They're a reset. One is your 12 volt, one is your 120. Just push them back in. Wherever your fresh water is, usually below that's going to be your freshwater drain, and there it is. There's a holder for your sewage hose, or stinky slinky we like to call it. On your slides, on your wiper seal, you want to keep these nice and flexible and pliable. They've got a liquid you can spray on those. Here's one spot for that spray port hose for a hot and cold shower out of that. Black tank flush. We'll talk about that when we leave the campsite and we're dumping our black and gray tanks. Coming around the back of the unit, you got a ladder, utilize it. Go up those several times a year. Check the seams of your roof and caulk as needed with recommended RV roofing caulk. You're prepped for a backup camera here. If you want to put anything on your hitch, there is your maximum towing information on that. Come around to your campsite. Outdoor speaker, a vent for your hood range indoors. Out here is where this table will set. And then the black legs that are inside there will connect to your griddle. That'll allow your griddle to set on here. Take that hose and quick connect LP right here. Here's your regular low point drains. It's going to be right there. Spare tire there. Let's say flue for your furnace. A few things on that. One, make sure it's never blocked. Two, if you are running your furnace, steer clear of these. They do get hot. And they do got bug guards you can put on those to keep bugs from nesting in there. There's the legs for your griddle. Over there. Prep for solar. Plug your solar panel right here. Now it'll help trickle charge your batteries. Your propane does come with a cover. It's on a regulator. Pointed toward the tank you wish to be using. Lefty-loosey to open. Well, covers everything out here. Inside your bike rack there. Let's go take a look on the inside. Alright, coming up beside the unit, first thing I always like to point out is the fire extinguisher. Make sure that you and everyone that's camping with you knows the fire extinguisher is located by the entry doorway in case of an emergency. Coming up to my right is a control panel. Up top is where you will see the levels of your fresh black and gray tanks. Over here is your battery, awning step, and interior lighting. Here's where you connect Bluetooth to your phone. Here's where you turn on your water heater hooked to gas, your water heater hooked to electric. It does make a difference, choose correctly. Here's where you turn on your water pump to get to the water in your freshwater tank. This tank heater, that's the 12-volt pad that's on your tank if you think you're going to be in inclement weather and it might freeze. That's where you turn that on at. Awning and slide controls. On your awning, you're only going to want to extend your awning out until a flap falls down to 90 degrees and you can see your brown bar. If I were to hold that down, that would continue to run itself out, flip up onto itself and start to run itself up backwards. So keep an eye on it when you run it out. Make sure you don't run it out further than you need to, and make sure that when you're retracting it, you're actually hitting retract and not extend instead of watching it come in. Next to that is your slide control. We'll utilize that when bringing back in our slide. Down below that is where you can download the app to do almost everything that's on this control panel from your phone. As this comes in, I mentioned these doors work best when gently slammed. This is a refrigerator power switch. That turns your fridge on, that shuts it off. That allows you to defrost your fridge without shutting all the power off in the unit. There's a safety latch. We're traveling down the road with that. Above here is your self-explanatory microwave. Down below your fridge is your breaker box and fuses. You've got a couple of 15s, a couple of 30s, and a 40. That's a variety there, so highly recommend having some of those with you when you go camping. To the right of that, 12-volt carbon monoxide propane detector. The reason I mention this 12-volt, that is always running off your battery. So keep that in mind when thinking about the charge on your battery. Step right over here to my thermostat that is running on AC right now. And let me shut that cool off. Cycle through all the way to off. You see that'll shut off rather quickly. Now I am going to hesitantly turn the heat on, just so you can hear the heat. Return for that should be right there. Now what you will notice when I shut the heat off, it does take a couple minutes for that fan to cycle through before it shuts off. To the right of that is going to be your solar controller. Whole purpose of this is to keep your solar panels from overcharging your batteries. I'll send you a separate video from GoPower on that. Not much for you to worry about that, other than to keep it on your flooded battery, or whatever type of battery you decide to put on this in the future. Smoke alarm here. A completely removable swivel table, adjustable. Paperwork in here, check all that out. Remove this table, and this will jackknife down to a bed as well. 110 there. Inverter over here. Backing up to our Connex E TV. So this will run indoor and outdoor sound. We got TV in here. You can do the Zone B on. That'll turn on outdoor. You can make that FM. Turn the sound up. And outdoor you'll have music while TV is running in here. Nice new system. Fan and light above your cooktop here. This glass top makes a nice backsplash. Just flip that up. Turn this to high. Hit your spark, and that's how quickly these light up. You may, if you haven't used this in a while, have to click it a few times to bleed your lines for gas. Rock this up for a panel light. Rock it down for an oven light. Your oven, same thing. Turn it to the flame. Hit your spark. That'll light it. You'll see a reflection. Be able to see it down in there. And then turn it to your desired temperature. Make sure you pilot lights before you do that. Lighting up here. Plumbing. So access to your plumbing down through here. Keep an eye on things. Make sure nothing's wiggled loose over time. There's your access to it. Square-headed screws. If you travel a lot and you're bouncing this up and down the road, you just want to make sure things haven't wiggled loose over time. I think that about covers everything in here. We'll have to go into the bathroom real quick. Just mentioned we do have a hand crank open. Turn the lights on. Hand crank open. Power exhaust vent down here with 4 different speeds. When you arrive at the campsite, flush this, put a couple gallons of water down in your black tank. Several gallons, it's going to allow your waste to dissolve better. You don't want to put waste down into an empty tank. Another 110 with GFCI reset. Keep an eye where that is, and your plumbing as well. Put your own toilet paper roll in, because wherever we put it, people wanted it somewhere else. That about covers everything on the inside. Let's act like we're leaving the campsite and close the unit up. Push that table back. Come up here and shut off all those lights. Now I know any other lights that are on are accent lights that I need to walk through and make sure they are off. Make sure all vents are closed. Turn back on my interior. Say doors and drawers. Walk through the unit. Make sure all doors and drawers are closed. I'm going to send you a video from TST also on your tire pressure monitoring system. Come up here and hit slide in. It's kind of a short slide, so it comes in rather quickly. That in, shut off my interior lights, and exit the unit. Now the biggest thing on these steps, you want to make sure this exterior door is all the way open. Otherwise this will catch on it. Comes really close. Your feet are also adjustable. See how close that comes there? Your feet are also adjustable by pushing in on this, and it will release the leg to where you want it if you're on uneven ground. Now before we leave the dump station, because you're going to want to get in here and check the level of your tank as we're dumping, but before you leave the dump station, lock, deadbolt, lift, and turn that handle. That's how you want that handle for travel. Alright, if we are out dry camping, we're going to come over, get up underneath there, dump that big white freshwater drain, come over here and bring up our stabilizing jacks. But just as quickly up as they were down, we're going to give it like 2 cranks to the left, just enough to loosen that cotter. Grab it, lift it right on up, and lock in one of those. Couple more cranks to the left, you're all the way up. Put your safety chain on. One of the quickest systems I've seen in quite a while. And head on home or the nearest dump station, whatever you're in need of. If you're at a campsite, we're going to unhook our power, our water, our cable. Bring up our stabilizing jacks and head on up to the dump station. At the dump station, park accordingly. Your dump is almost at the very rear of the unit, on the off-camp side or your driver's side of your tow vehicle, with a 10-foot hose that comes with your convenience pack. You're going to hook that up and pull that black handle. When that sounds like it's no longer draining, go inside, check the level of your black tank. If it shows empty or close to it, come back out here, leave that handle open, grab the hose at the dump station, and hook up to this tank flush valve right above your power here. Hook that up with that black handle open, turn that hose on, let that run for a good 5 minutes. Guy behind you can wait when it washes all that nastiness out of your black tank. When that's done, remove that hose, make sure all that washout water you just put in there has drained, close your black, and pull your gray. And while my grays are draining, we're going to come up here to our hot water heater, lift up on this pressure release valve. Now be careful, some hot water will come out of there. When that's done, pull your drain plug here so you don't leave stagnant water in your hot water heater. Come back over to your campsite, get up underneath there and dump them low point drains. When that gray is done, we'll check that on the inside, of course. Come back over here, close that gray up, grab that sewage hose, and conveniently and sanitarily store it right here in your stinky slinky holder and head on home. Again, thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this E Pro for many years to come. Happy camping.